The Florida Gators have landed a commitment in the transfer portal in the form of Asa Turner from Washington. We're going to talk about that here on Locked On Gators.
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to a bonus episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. Happy Thursday night. I am Brandon Olsen. Find me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Giants Country and NFL 33. And we're going to talk about what felt like it took forever to finally happen. But Asa Turner, Washington safety, has committed to the Florida Gators. And I mean, I was told on Sunday night, hey, it's probably happening tomorrow. And then we were told, or then like time just kept going. And it was like, oh, maybe it'll happen Wednesday night. We should have a decision Wednesday night. And then it's Thursday morning, and then Thursday morning came, and it felt like forever, but well worth it for the Florida Gators to land a commitment from Asa Turner. I am Asa Turner, by the way. You see the hair? It's me. We're just a little bit different in height. That's fine. It's fine. I played DB at the SEC level, right? Yikes. But Asa Turner is someone that I am excited to have him join the roster. I do think that he's going to wind up being safety 2 or safety 3 for the Florida Gators. I will say that for him, he's a player where I've talked a lot about the best ability is availability, and he has dealt with quite a few injuries throughout his career. But when he was healthy, he's pretty much always been a starter at Washington when healthy. The issue is, again, not being healthy, not being available. But Asa Turner is someone that I do think can step in right away. I love his aggressive attacking mindset when the ball's in the air. I think that that's something that Florida really hasn't had much of since 2021 Rashad Torrance, and then he got significantly worse in 2023 and 2022. But I think 2021 Rashad Torrance is the last safety that Florida had where I go, that's an aggressive attacking safety when the ball's in the air. And so for me, like having Asa Turner there, personally, I think that alone could be enough to get him a starting spot or to be the first man off the bench. Like that should be the first man into the rotation. That should be his identifier, is that he is a ball hawking safety, because he is. He's one of those like see ball, get ball kind of guys, willing to go up and make a play for it. And that's something that Florida really hasn't had. Even when Rashad Torrance was doing it, he wasn't like exceptional at it. He was just doing it. But I think Asa Turner is someone who, that's what I think of when I watch his film, when I watch him play. From people I've spoken to, I think of someone who has a high IQ, which playing deep safety at the SEC level is not an easy thing to do. And you need a high IQ to do that. So playing it at a high level requires that. And I do think that Asa Turner has that, and he brings that to the table. And that's something that I do think that we have to appreciate and acknowledge, that alone should get you significant playing time. Okay? Not just being a good cover man, which I do think Asa Turner is pretty good, but being able to come down and make a play on the ball whenever it's there and being a willing run defender. That's the downside. I will say Asa Turner is a willing run defender. His tackling, however, leaves some cause for concern. And I do think that his presence gives Florida kind of an intriguing option at safety, where you're playing a team who, hey, we know they're going to air it out. Or if it's in an obvious passing situation and you know they're going to air it out, you put Asa Turner on the field and you go, hey, man, go try to make a play on the ball. When you're playing a team that you're like, hey, they're probably going to run the ball about 40, 50 times this game, maybe you don't play that much this week. But Florida also, I mean, everybody in the safety room struggled with tackling and actually finishing these plays. But I do think that looking at year 2, Jordan Castell, year 2, Bryce Thornton, having Asa Turner back with Will Harris, who that's obviously like that's the big selling point, right? For Asa Turner, it's okay, your head coach is gone from Washington. So you're like there's big changes there. You can come to Florida. You take that step up to the SEC. And I get it, SEC wasn't a big playoff team and all that. The SEC is still the best conference in college football, without a doubt in my mind. Not as dominant as they used to be, but still the best. And so you have SEC play. NFL general managers, I promise you, they're looking at the SEC more than any other place, especially in the secondary. So you're now going to the place where NFL teams are going to put more attention on you, playing the SEC, playing against an incredibly difficult schedule. You're now here. You're rejoining Will Harris, who recruited you out of high school, who is the reason you went to Washington. You're now rejoining him as he's the new defensive backs coach in Gainesville. It's a match made in heaven here. Florida gets the ball hawking safety they have not had. You maybe take a little bit of the pressure off Jordan Castell because Jordan Castell played like an Iron Man last year. If I'm not mistaken, he had the most snaps played in the entire defense. And a true freshman shouldn't do that. Like he was good for a true freshman. Started off strong, really fell off after that. Like he kind of hit that freshman wall, which is expected. I feel like when guys get to that like a certain snap count, that's kind of when they drop off a bit. And so I think that looking at Asa Turner coming in, like I think it's a great fit. And I think that you get Jordan Castell, doesn't have to play as many snaps, but also I think Asa Turner is versatile enough to play both safety spots. And I think Jordan Castell is as well. So I think that really opens it up where if you do start Asa Turner and you want to go too high, or if they're just on the same field at the same time and you want to go too high, you can do that with two high safeties. You can play cover 2, cover 4. You can play anything out of that because both guys have the ability to play the deep safety or come down into the box. If you want to show one high, you can do that on either side. And that's like, we don't even have to worry about whether you're the boundary safety or the field safety. It's just you're one of the starting safeties. You're left safety, right safety for all I care. Like, I do think that Asa Turner brings a lot to the table. And now we're going to talk about the scholarship stuff because I know that that's been a conversation for Florida Gators fans for the really entire offseason. That's been a talking point. We'll talk about that in just a second. But first, a quick word from eBay Motors. This bonus episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by eBay Motors. With passion, drive, and patience, that's what brings home the winning trophy, and it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. Yeah, 122 million. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first or second listen of the day. We are available daily, sometimes more than once in a day, and free wherever you listen to podcasts and on YouTube. And for me, Asa Turner, I do think that he was a great ad. But again, the conversation now is around those scholarships because Florida, in recent weeks, you've added a few players. You added Clay Millen, the quarterback from Colorado State. You added DeAndre Robinson, Jameer Grimsley, both 2024 freshmen that were part of the recruiting class. With Jameer Grimsley was at Alabama, and then he came over to Florida after Nick Saban retired. DeAndre Robinson was signed to Texas, and then he asked for his release after the defensive line coach went to LSU, and so he came into the class. Florida is at 85 scholarships before adding Asa Turner for the fall. They're at 82 before adding Asa Turner in the spring. So all that tells you is that Florida still has 2 scholarships available for the spring, and that they have to lose at least one player after the spring in order to be able to keep Asa Turner, or in order to be able to get under the 85 scholarship limit, or to the 85 scholarship limit. So that's why I'm not concerned with the scholarships. I know that that's a thing that I've seen people talk about, and even in the Discord and everything, like they're oh, well, we're out of scholarships, so we can't get Asa Turner. I think it was like last Monday, I saw someone say that, where they were just like, oh, we're at 85 now, so we can't do it. That's simply not true, because you're at 85 for the fall, but you're at 82 for the spring. You can reasonably expect that at least one person is going to leave. And if not, truly, you can push someone out if you want. You can push out one of the guys who loses the battle on the offensive line, one of the upperclassmen, where you're just like, all right, you haven't played much now. You've lost the battle. We've got guys coming in on the offensive line. You're not going to get playing time. Go hit the portal. You can do it at receiver. If someone loses a battle, or if multiple guys lose battles that are upperclassmen, you go, hey, we've got a lot of really good young receivers coming in. You're not really a fit for us anymore. And you can push them out. So I'm not concerned about now being over the 85 scholarship limit, because, again, you're not currently over the limit, because you have 3 players coming in that are going to be mid-year enrollees out of high school. It's Aaron Childs, I think it's Amir Jackson, and DeAndre Robinson are all expected to be mid-year enrollees for the Florida Gators. So you've still got those scholarships for the spring. The expectation that I would have is that you go through the spring with Asa Turner added. Not sure if you add anybody else. I doubt it at this point. It's not something that Florida's really been pushing for. So you probably give 2 walk-ons a scholarship just for the duration of the spring. Just, save them some money. Be nice. Give 2 scholarships walk-ons for the spring, or give 2 walk-ons scholarships for the spring. And then when it comes time for fall, you lose at least one guy. The expectation is you're going to lose more, because guess what? A lot of teams do. A lot of teams lose guys when they go into spring and they're just like, all right, I'm going to compete here. And if I lose, then I'll leave gladly. Hell, you're probably going to have someone hit the portal before the spring ends. Pretty sure every year Florida's had that happen in the past since Billy's been here. Not that that's a Billy thing, because the first year was Emory Jones came for like 2 days of practice and then he hit the portal. So I think the expectation should be that you're going to lose somebody. And again, you never know what's going to happen, as far as some guys just show up and they get blown out of the water in camp, and they're like, all right, I think I'm just going to call it a day. And then you have that scholarship freed up. So for Florida, I'm not concerned about the scholarships. I am looking at the second transfer portal window, and I'm saying, all right, if you want to be active there, you have to get rid of more players. But for the time being, I wouldn't stress the scholarships too much. You have who you have for the spring. You have 2 scholarships available that you can still give to walk-ons for the duration of the spring. And then we call that a day. So scholarships are not a concern for me right now. Asa Turner does make your secondary considerably better. Whether he's a starter or not, he's made your safety room better. I do think that he could play multiple spots in that safety room. I'm not too sold on him being a nickel. He's done it a little bit, but if we're moving a guy, or if we're playing a transfer safety at nickel, I think that DJ Douglas would be a better fit for that. DJ Douglas out of Tulane. But so for me, like, you've improved here. Still got a major concern at corner, but your safety room has improved. Your safety play probably will improve. And that in turn should help limit the deep plays when you're playing quarters or cover 3. You probably have a better chance at stopping big plays now, and hope that your corners adapt and adjust and improve as well. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day. Every day we are available daily and free for every listen to the podcast. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about the 2025 recruiting class for the Florida Gators and their approach to recruiting. For Locked On Gators, I'm Brandon Olsen. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at WNS_Brandon. Find all my written work with Whole 9 Sports, Giants Country, NFL 33, and I'll see you all next time.